Okay, here is how you do all the body movements at each of the joints that were taught in class. At the shoulder, for shoulder flexion, you bring your arm in front of you. For shoulder extension, bring the arm behind you. For shoulder abduction, you move it away from the body. For shoulder adduction, you bring it towards the body. For shoulder internal rotation, if you bring your arm across your body like this, that is internal rotation of the shoulder. To move your arm outward like this, that is external rotation of the shoulder. For shoulder circumduction, you're moving your arm in a circular pattern. For the elbow flexion, start in anatomical position and simply bend your elbows. For elbow extension, straighten them out. For wrist flexion, make sure you're in anatomical position and bring your hands upward for wrist flexion. For wrist extension, bring them back. For ulnar deviation, move your hands this way towards the ulnar side. For radial deviation, move your hands the opposite way towards the thumb side. For supination of the forearm, your hands are like this with the palms facing upward. For pronation, rotate the forearm so the palms are facing down. For the hip flexion, simply lift your leg up, causing you to flex at the hip. For hip extension, bring your leg behind you. For hip abduction, bring your leg to the outside. For hip adduction, bring your leg towards the midline. For hip internal rotation, simply rotate your knee towards the inside, causing that hip joint to rotate inward. For hip external rotation, simply move your knee a little bit to the outside, causing that hip to externally rotate. For hip circumduction, a combination of all the movements, move your leg in a circular pattern. For knee flexion, just bend your knee. For knee extension, return it back to normal position. Movements at the ankle. For ankle dorsiflexion, you move your foot upward. For plantar flexion, point your foot downward. For inversion, move your foot inward. Not the entire leg, but just move your foot inward for inversion. For eversion, move your foot outward. For protraction and retraction at the scapula, that requires you to put your hands in front of you and pull the scapula away from each other for protraction. For retraction, squeeze the scapula together. And those are the movements at each of the joints that were taught in class.